This is a demonstration of pivot package from Pro Trading Indicators. Pivot package is actually 3 indicators. 2 go on your chart and 1 is for the market analyzer. These work on any market and any time-based chart, daily, weekly, monthly, minutes, also range, tick, and case bar charts. We recommend using this on a 15-minute chart or higher, but advanced traders are using these on lower time frames. Basically, on the chart you have your pivots marked off. That's what these dots are here. And when a pivot is broken, you can see that by its crossing the line. That's a signal for a trade entry. So you enter at the line cross and you put your stop under the most recent pivot low and follow price higher. These indicators work on any markets, stocks, futures, or Forex. Right now we're looking at a daily chart of Apple. And basically, it's a trend following indicator. You can see with these pivots on the left here, what you want to do is wait for a trend to actually develop. You want to see higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend, or lower highs and lower lows. So in this case, we have a top formed here, and there is a pivot forming and broken. But I wouldn't take that trade. I would wait for proof that the trend is moving lower with a lower high and a lower low. This is a good entry here. Even though it wiggled around a little bit from this consolidation over on the left, price did move down. And you follow price down and you can exit using a pivot trail or bar by bar, whatever system you're comfortable with as far as management. We also include a parallel lines indicator. That's what these 2 lines are on the bottom right. So that helps you determine, they'll follow the trend lines of the latest trend. So that helps you determine when a trend is possibly heading in another direction, and you can start watching for higher highs and higher lows. Our indicators work on the Forex market as well. Here's the Euro-US dollar currency pair on a 240-minute chart, and you can see after this consolidation, there's several good trades here, but after this consolidation for a higher high, higher low, you've got a beautiful trade to the upside with a very small stop loss. Also earlier in the trend, you see the trend changing because you've got a higher high, higher low here. Nice breakout to the top side, and you can follow price all the way up into the consolidation. Here's Autodesk, the equities market, and a picture of what it looks like to use a higher time frame as your guidance chart. On the left we've got a daily chart, and on the right we've got a 30-minute chart. I've marked off on the right side here what we're looking at on the 30-minute chart. And on the 30-minute chart on the right side, you've got higher highs, higher lows, and this is the area right here where the line break happened on the daily chart. So you've got the line break, very low stop, and price moves up rapidly. Here we have the E-mini futures, the Dow, on a 60-minute chart, and here's a view of an uptrend and a way to get on that uptrend. Sometimes these take off and it's difficult to find a spot to enter. But we can see here on the left that a consolidation had formed, immediately moving up into higher highs, higher lows. When you're newer to trading, it's great to avoid gaps or be careful when you're around them. So there's a great trade entry right here. You've got your higher high, higher low. Price breaks that high and moves up nicely. And with experience, gaps can be wonderful to trade. I'll zoom in a little bit on this trade here. You can see the gap down. Even though price was in an uptrend, we start selling off here and we end the day on a topping tail. So you have to put yourself in the shoes of these traders. What do you think most traders are anticipating on the next day? Follow through to the downside. When price opens higher, that's a shock to a lot of traders. You've got stops being hit here, stops being hit here. So I'd feel comfortable taking this trade to the top side and just following price up until you start seeing red bars. Here's a view of the setup. Once you've imported the indicator, you insert it on your chart by right-clicking and selecting Indicator. Then you find the indicator and click New. You've got a few choices here. As with all of our indicators, you can leave them just as default, and they're designed to work well on most markets. You can also do some fine-tuning here if you like. The first set of numbers have to do with how big the pivot is. It's at 6 right now. If you lower this number, it will show you more pivots. If you raise it, it'll show you fewer pivots, only showing you the larger pivots. The next line has to do with how many pips price passes the breakout line in order for it to actually count as a breakout. After that, you've got on and off showing these pivot points, these little dots at the pivot. And you've got a choice whether to show pivots that happen with the trend or against the trend. And that's decided down here by a moving average. If price is above this moving average, and you can select the length, it'll show you the long pivots. And if it's below it, it'll show you only short-only entries. And you can have it show the moving average. And just below that, you've got choices in what color the lines are and the actual pivot signals. So, a lot you can tweak in here if you want to, but I find these indicators work great just out of the box. Here's a quick look at the market analyzer. I'm an active trader. It's after hours, so you're not seeing any activity on the bar here on the right. But the basic idea is when a pivot break does occur, it'll show up here, and then you can take a look at that chart and see if it's something you'd like to trade. Here's one last chart here to show you a pivot during consolidation. This is a 15-minute chart of Amgen. And right here we've got your consolidation, a strong move up, higher high, higher low. But this actually is a long consolidation. And the pivot still forms, offering you a way to get on board this uptrend. Instead of price moving lower, what you have here is a very strong trend. So price is consolidating, going sideways instead of a pullback and a new uptrend. So our indicator still works on the very strong markets as well. We hope you've enjoyed learning about the pivot package from Pro Trading Indicators and that you find it useful in your trading.